Bigfoot, the original monster machine, piloted by the first professional monster truck driver ever, Jim Kramer. His nemesis, teenage phenomenon Greg Holbrook, driving the awesome Equalizer. Coming up, it's crafty veteran versus brash young gun in this USHRA Association battle to the finish. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speedworld. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Superdome in New Orleans. I'm Bret, Kepner with one of the wildest monster truck shows ever on tap. For the first time ever, Bigfoot, Taurus, the Equalizer, and Gravedigger will be involved in head-to-head competition in what should be one of the toughest monster truck shows ever assembled.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kris Chapman at the Captial Centre in Landover, Maryland, where inside we'll see modified multi-engine tractors. They're high-powered and ready to roar.
Paul Norman's awesome war wagon will battle John Powell's multi-engine behemoth in a pulling war where every inch counts. Welcome to the 1991 Monster Truck Challenge Series. To the 1991 Monster Truck Challenge Series. Welcome, everybody, to the Superdome in New Orleans as we get ready for monster truck qualifying here at one of the largest single annual USHRA Association events of the year. The first man up on a special S-shaped course that involves one hard left-hand turn, one hard right-hand turn, and two sets of crush cars will be Ray Perkowski out of St. Louis, Missouri, in the brand new Invader Ford. Perkowski leaves the line rather conservatively and already runs into problems. You can see him locking up the brakes to try and make the extremely tight left-hand turn, and now tapping one of the disqualification markers. Believe me when I tell you this is going to add up for a lapse time as we qualify against the clock. Perkowski finally back underway. And still having problems as he makes the hard right-hand turn that will set him up for the final straight. Beautiful airborne launch as he crosses the finish line. The elapsed time for the new Invader Ford with problems, 41.07 seconds, and that will set the pace for this man. Rob Morris in the incredible four-wheel crazy, the rookie of the year from the 1990 USHRA Association season. A beautiful starting line launch, and on the outside lane, handling this course perfectly. Flawless final turn and a beautiful launch at the finish line. Rob Morris, 26.92 seconds, will take over the pole for qualifying in this 8-truck field. The Ford from Fort Worth, Texas heads back to the pit area as the incredible Carolina Crusher of Gary Porter brings one up for the Chevrolet fans. Not quite as serious, it appears, as Rob Morris was. Now finally getting onto the loud pedal as he moves into the final turn. And actually, Porter takes the last turn in this S-shaped course, probably better than anybody. Crossing the finish line, the elapsed time for the Crusher, 27.49 seconds. The Carolina team will now take the number 2 spot, but here's the kid, Greg Holbrook from Tennessee. The Equalizer GMC-bodied rear-engine machine trying to get the number 1 spot. A beautiful turn using the staggered rear wheel steering, and Holbrook crosses the finish line nicely. The elapsed time for the kid, 26.41 seconds, and the nation's youngest professional monster truck driver ends up on the pole. Right behind him, though, Rob Morris's four-wheel crazy Ford and the Carolina Crusher. We still have Bigfoot yet to go and unlimited tractor pulling from Landover, Maryland. Stay with us. We're Back at the Superdome in New Orleans with over 40,000 race-ready fans as we continue monster truck qualifying on the USHRA Association Camel World Championship Tour. And here's the one everybody's been waiting for. Jim Kramer and Bob Chandler's awesome lightweight, high-horsepower Bigfoot Ford leaves the line. A nosedive for Kramer as he heads wide into the last turn. The mark to beat, 26.41 seconds. Another nosedive at the finish line, but Kramer clocks 25.88 seconds for the #1 spot. The Fords, Chevys, and GMCs have been throwing this one around all night long, but here's the incredible Taurus that finished #2 in the world last year. Jack Willman out of Illinois, the driver. Willman appears to be on a great one. If he can make this turn solidly, he'll have this one wrapped. Perfect turn. And a beautiful leap across the finish line. The elapsed time for the Taurus Chevy, 23.39 seconds. That will take the #1 spot back again for the General Motors fraternity. And speaking of Chevrolet products, take a look at this one. Dale Harris's incredible full-body 1957 Chevrolet Monster. Cole Casper leaves the line. That this machine is giving up about 7,000 pounds to most of its opponents, and just the fact that Harris can get this thing airborne is incredible in itself. The heavyweight moves up for the final set of crush cars. Actually, a beautiful airborne leap as he crosses the finish line, bouncing all over the place with an elapsed time of 36.63 seconds. That'll put him 6th in the field right now. But on the line, the truck that everybody has been waiting to see. Dennis Anderson's 1950 Chevrolet that has become a nationwide phenomenon, Gravedigger. On the outside lane, swinging it around the first turn. Remember, Taurus, the Chevrolet from Illinois, is in the lead on qualifying at 23.39 seconds. Anderson lines it up for the final hit. Beautiful airborne leap. The elapsed time for Gravedigger, 23.04 seconds. #1 for the crowd favorite from North Carolina. So Anderson leads the field by a solid 0.3 of a second with Taurus #2 and Bigfoot #3. That could present some of the wildest elimination rounds ever when we come back. And don't forget, we've still got unlimited tractor pulling action from Maryland. Don't you dare go away. Back at the Superdome in New Orleans as we get ready for USHRA Association Monster Truck Elimination. Well, one thing's for sure, while Monster Truck action has come a long way, so have the paint jobs. And the big green machine itself pulls to the line. The #1 qualifier, Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger, against Rob Morris's four-wheel crazy #5 qualifier in this field. In the first side-by-side battle, they leave the line dead even. And the four-wheel crazy Ford with the inside lane on the first turn has a beautiful run going. Anderson really will have to lay on the throttle to make it up. Coming around the last turn, Anderson trying to make up the distance as they head for the finish line. Anderson sideways and into the center wall. Rob Morris hard on the brakes as he takes the win. An incredible wheel-to-wheel dash. The 1990 Rookie of the Year, Morris, in the blue Ford from Texas, had a distinct advantage in the first full straightaway. But look at Anderson, flat-footing it, trying to make up the distance as he goes into the final turn. That little bobble there made him push even harder. And then airborne at the finish line, sideways in the air, into the inside retaining wall. Anderson, serious chassis damage on the green machine, an upset first-round loser. This time around, the incredible Bigfoot Ford, number 3 qualifier, takes on number 7 in the field in a Ford and Chevy battle. It's Dale Harris's Casper 57 Bel Air. Actually, Harris doing a great job until that problem as it stalls in the first turn and hands the win to the blue Ford from St. Louis. Kramer knows he's got an easy run and takes it very conservatively through the last turn and over the finish line to advance to the semi-final round. And like I said, you could see Dale Harris in the Casper 57 Chevy, despite its heavy disadvantage in weight, actually had a pretty good run going until the machine just stalled coming out of the first full turn, and Kramer drove around for the automatic win. Just a matter of keeping it between the lines at this point. And Kramer, in the highest dollars, state-of-the-art Ford, will advance. The next pair on the starting line, number 8 qualifier, Ray Perkowski's Invader, takes on the kid, 19-year-old Greg Holbrook, the Tennessee-based equalizer in the far lane. And problems for Holbrook, but now problems for Perkowski. It evens it out at a big, big bounce for the Invader Ford, and that will be all Holbrook needs in the equalizer. But now another problem for the GMC with rear engine power. Holbrook somehow manages to pull a win out of a battle of errors in this Ford and GMC battle. You certainly can't fault Perkowski. He gave it everything he had, but it'll be the 19-year-old advancing to the semifinal round. Now, Taurus versus the Carolina Crusher in the final pair of round number 1. And a foul start for the Taurus Chevrolet. Another incredible upset as the number 2 qualifier goes out on a foul start. Gary Porter in the Carolina Crusher must not realize that he's keeping it flat-footed all the way around, but a very, very upset Jack Wellman will head right into the pits. He knows what kind of violation he committed on the starting line, and Porter's orange and red Chevrolet will advance to the semifinal round. On the slow-motion replay of the start, you can see U.S. Hobbit Association starter Mike Speller signal to the Carolina Crusher. Porter signals that he is ready. Now Speller turns to the Taurus driver, Jack Wellman. He signals that he's ready. As Speller's hand comes down, you can see the lurch of the Taurus Chevrolet. Just a sheer case of anticipation as the green light comes on after the truck had moved. That is a foul start loss. So the semifinals here in New Orleans will feature the four-wheel Crazy Ford against the dreaded Bigfoot and the Carolina Crusher against the Equalizer. It's a Ford and Chevrolet final round no matter how you look at it. Plus, we've got unlimited tractors coming up. Stay with us. We're at the Captial Centre in Landover, Maryland, getting ready for U.S. Hobbit Association Championship tractor pulling action. Kris Chapman is standing by with an up-close look at dragster tractor racing.
Tractors are used in modified tractor pulling for tremendous horsepower. This is Paul Norman's War Wagon, which features a stacked 3-engine system. We're talking power. Strapping two airplane engines to the front of a tractor and using them to pull down the track can be a pretty dangerous situation. But Rick Rockefeller, the owner of the Policy Peddler, really doesn't worry too much about the potential danger. He owns his own insurance company. Rick, tell me why you're using two airplane engines on a tractor pull.
Well, to get the power that we need to compete with the automotive engine, with 4 to 6 motors for the automotive engine, it takes 2 Allison motors to compete with them.
What goes through your mind as you sit up there and you know that you're sitting there with 2 airplane motors and all these other guys have really normal motors on the front of theirs when you're getting ready to go out to do your pull?
Well, our motors are a whole lot more temperamental, so you just hope everything's right with the motor and the fuel systems and to compete with them. The motors were built in 1930s and 40s.
As he gets ready to make the first pull, the handbrake and hand throttle being guided forward. And now 6,000 horsepower is unleashed. Finally pulling back on the throttle to shut it down. The distance is 106 feet, 2 inches. Tally Davis of the machine called Running Bear waits for the flagman to throw the green. It's up. Here's the Running Bear. And Davis will dig in well short of his goal. But we are back now to Monster Truck semifinal action in the Superdome in New Orleans. Versus Chevrolet in a final round is guaranteed as each of the semis pit Ford versus Ford and GM versus GM. It's Bigfoot and Jim Kramer leaving the line right with Rob Morris in the four-wheel crazy Ford. Incredible leap for Kramer as he heads into the second turn beautifully. A little bobble in the middle of the turn, but not nearly as bad as the problems experienced by the four-wheel crazy driver who fails to make it around the second turn. The crowd goes crazy as the Bigfoot Ford advances to the final round. On the replay, you can see the incredible air that Kramer's Bigfoot Ford got on the first set of crush cars, but Rob Morris runs into problems in the four-wheel crazy machine entering that second turn, missing the turn completely as Kramer himself ran into a few problems, but still straightened it out with plenty of room to spare. Meanwhile, on the starting line, it's GMC versus Chevrolet. Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher, Greg Holbrook's Equalizer lead the line side by side. Porter with a big advantage. It's up to the kid now to make up the difference. The winner will have to take on Bigfoot, and it looks like Porter's got it wrapped. But he runs into problems. So does Holbrook. Who can recover first? It's the kid and the Equalizer advancing to the final round in an upset. Unbelievable battle that saw Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher with a huge advantage going into the final turn. And then the truck goes crazy. Looking at the replay, the start was virtually even. And Porter already started making up time out of the first turn and had this huge advantage going into the final turn. But then the yellow Chevrolet gets crossed up. Holbrook gets sideways as well. And it's Holbrook of the Equalizer that recovers from the error first to advance to a Bigfoot showdown here at the Superdome. Unbelievable battle. So that will pit a GMC rear-engine truck from Tennessee with a 19-year-old at the wheel against the best-known truck in monster truck racing, Jim Kramer and Bigfoot. It's all coming up. Don't go away. Back at the Captial Centre in Landover, Maryland. This is the machine called One to Go of longtime Maryland campaigner Gary Mills. You're looking at a helicopter turbine engine, driving power to the rear wheels, 4,000 horsepower out of one solitary power plant. But it should be obvious that Mills has serious problems. The distance only 68 feet even. Bill Jones and the attitude adjuster, 1,000 cubic inches of Chevy V16, 4,000 horsepower on tap. unbelievable, literally an indoor fireworks show. This is the awesome behemoth with 10,000 horsepower of John Powell. More than enough for the field here at Landover, Maryland. Now the pressure is on the incredible war wagon of Paul Norman. Now full throttle. Norman in the war wagon stumbles at mid-range, and no way. Even Norman himself shakes his head. John Powell and the Powell pulling 4-engine Chrysler Hemi takes overall victory. Looking at the replay on Norman's war wagon, you could see that he was very, very conservative, not getting into full throttle until around 100 feet. And then the machine started bucking. He was forced to get in and out of the throttle. A tough break for a driver who was really a pre-race favorite going into this pulling event. But you can compare his pull to this incredible display of brute torque and horsepower by John Powell's awesome quad-motored Hemi. In fact, the actual winning distance was, believe it or not, no less than 54 feet. Powell takes the win with Paul Norman second at 121 feet. Robert Hutton's clodhopper at 119, Tally Davis at 117, and Bob Kinzer at 108 round out the top five.
But in the meantime, we've got a showdown that could well be the most exciting of the 1991 U.S. Hobbit Association season so far. A 19-year-old rookie out of Tennessee in a GMC takes on the best-known monster machine in the history of the sport, Bigfoot versus the Equalizer for the championship dash at the Superdome. Kramer would appear to have the advantage in Bigfoot as they go into the last turn. Can the kid make up the difference? He's coming around. A beautiful turn. Kramer trying to keep it, and he does as Holbrook gets sideways. The crowd goes crazy, and Greg Holbrook limps across the finish line. The 19-year-old knows he's just been taught a valuable lesson. An incredible battle until the Equalizer ran into problems right in the middle of the last turn, and for the second year in a row, the Bigfoot team wins this event. On the replay, the start was virtually dead even. Holbrook did a masterful job of staying with Bigfoot despite the fact that he had the outside lane in the first turn, but he made up all his time on the inside turn of the last one, but spun it here. Even the independent front and rear steering couldn't help him. Kramer drives around for this sideways landing.
I know that you were the very first man who was the first professional monster truck driver, and you've always loved what you've done. You've always been the man who made the innovations along with Bob Chandler. You're the man who guided this sport. But you know as well as I do that there are a lot of these 19-year-olds coming up that are gunning to take you out.
Oh, yes. You know, we started out, and actually monster truck racing actually started right here in the Dome. If you remember, this was the first bona fide monster truck race ever put on was here. Bob Chandler's been out there trying to perform for the people, try to get them what they want to see, try to keep ahead of the game, try to make the sport safer and faster, and I think he's done a great job doing that. I'm just proud to be a part of the Bigfoot organization, be able to drive for them. These guys are tough. You have to work for your wins, and they're more fun if you have to work for them.
An incredible job. Congratulations, Guy. The crowd loved every minute of it.
Always glad to be here at the Superdome. This is the first place for monster truck racing. It's the best place.
You didn't cut him any slack until you ran into problems in the last turn. What happened?
Just lack of experience. He's just been doing this much more years than me.
Well, that's being humble. There's no question about that. It didn't look like you oversteered it, though. It looked like you just had a mechanical problem.
That concrete's slick, and went there and started sliding and couldn't correct it.
You think it's going to turn into a deal where you're going to be chasing Kramer all year long?
I sure hope so. He's going to look out.
He will, believe me. You did an incredible job, young man, and get into the final round. Great job.
We'll see you later.
On behalf of myself, Bret Kepner, thanks for being with us.
That wraps up all the action from the Captial Centre in Landover, Maryland. I'm Kris Chapman. Good night and good trucking.
We'll see you next time on the 1991 Monster Truck Challenge Series. This has been a GRB Entertainment production in association with ESPN.